Hi guys, welcome to dubventures. If this is the first time that you're on this channel, I'm Tom.
I'm Brooke.
And that's Thor, our little fur baby. Now, today's video, we've been asked a lot recently about different tips and things that we've got about people that are buying camper vans. The reason for that is currently at the moment we're in a lockdown situation, and a lot of people have realised that having a camper van gives a lot of freedom and things like that. So show you what Thor's doing over there. So yeah, so today's video we're going to give you guys our 10 top tips of what, in our experience, you should be looking for if you're going to go and buy a camper van.
Can you say that again, because that sounded like a mouthful?
It does sound a bit of a mouthful. It felt like a mouthful. I don't even know what I said. So
10 tips.
10 top tips about if you're going to buy a camper van. Now, the first thing that you need to sort of this is like in our experience, like a tip is you need to figure out.
I've just nearly fell over.
Not never figure out how you fell over. Yeah, you need to figure out if you're going to buy a camper van, you need to, it comes down to budget at the end of the day. But the first thing that you need to think about is, I'm just going to skip over thought. Yeah, the first thing that you need to think about is, if you're going to buy a camper van, are you going to buy a camper van that is already converted, or are you going to buy a camper van that you're going to do it as a self-build camper van? Now, the thing is, when we got our camper van, I mean, it's about 4 years old now, our camper van, but we got a van that was needed converting. Like, we're doing it ourselves, and 4 years in we're still converting it, aren't we? Now, let's just say for argument's sake that your budget is £10,000. If you bought a camper van that was £10,000, just let me, I'm stuck on the lead.
Where are you going?
I'm stuck on his lead. If you was going to buy a camper van that was 10 years old, that's already converted, he keeps putting his lead in front of me. But yeah, if you're going to buy a camper van that is 10 years old, that's already converted, the chances are it's going to be high mileage, and it's going to be like an oldish vehicle. It might be like 10 years old or something. But you could buy for the same £10,000 a vehicle that's a lot newer, that might only be, say, 5 years old and have half the mileage. Now, because of that, we decided that we knew that we want to convert the vehicle ourselves, because we got a vehicle that was newer, that was a panel van that was empty, that we was going to convert. So getting to the point, the number one tip I would say is decide on your budget, and then obviously work out what is better for you. Getting one that's already been converted, that's likely going to be higher mileage and an older van, or get one that's, where are you going? Or get one that is lower mileage and newer. So that's tip number one. Right, let's go and take this little guy for a walk, burn some of his energy, and then we'll get to tip number two. So guys, the second tip is you need to decide, are you going to buy your camper van, or your camper van conversion that you're going to do, from a private seller or a trader? Now, generally, if you buy from a trader, doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get a better vehicle, but you have a lot more protection rights. Because if you buy a vehicle from a private seller, even though you've still got rights, they're not as much, and it's more difficult to sort of get your rights sort of legally adhered to, if you like. If you buy from a trader, you have a lot of protection if it's a reputable trader, because you have warranties. If there's any problems with the vehicle, you can take it back under I think it's the Consumer Rights Act 2015.
Excuse me.
So, sorry, coming through. There you go. So yeah, you need to decide, where you're going to buy the vehicle from. Now, me personally, I've never bought a vehicle from a private seller, but that's just me, that's just my opinion, because we've all bought vehicles and we've all had problems with in the past, and every time I've gone back to a garage, if it's within the time frame of obviously the problem arising, I've always got it sorted. So me personally, I would only buy from a trader. Now, I know there's some rip-off traders out there, and there's some genuine private sellers, so it does balance out, but that's just what I would do, only because you have that protection that if you buy it from a trader, you can take it back, because camper vans are not cheap, are they? So, you do want some level of protection. So that's tip number two, something just to think about.
on the gov.uk website and check the MOT checker.
Yeah guys, you heard it there. So you found the vehicle that you like, you've decided if you're buying it from a private seller or a trader. The next thing to do is go on, as Brooke said, the gov.uk website and just type in MOT checker. What that is, in the UK, if a vehicle is over 3 years old, it has to have an MOT. It's like a safety check and everything, so you know, it's a standard that the vehicle is roadworthy. Now, let's say you're buying a 10-year-old vehicle. That means that that vehicle has had 7 MOTs if it's been on the road and everything. Just show you this view here. I know I'm getting distracted here, but really nice where we are. Yeah, I always get distracted. But yeah, if you bought a 10-year-old vehicle, it should have had, if it's been on the road for that 10 years, 7 MOTs. Now, what happens is, on the MOT checker, it actually records if the vehicle has passed or failed its MOT. If it's failed its MOT, let's just say it failed on a tyre, it will show on the MOT checker, whatever year it failed on, that it had to have that tyre replaced because it failed. It will then show that it passed, which means it had the work done. Now, also on the MOT checker, it shows what's called advisories. What that means is, if something is not a failure, but it needs some attention, for example, if the vehicle is showing some rust on some like suspension components or, you know, parts of the vehicle that are like, you know, very important, it will show that, like, if you had some rust, the advisory, it's showing some signs of rust. What you need to do is, if it's got an advisory for anything, it could even be like brake pads are low, you know, the tyres are near the legal limit, but it's not quite a failure. When you go and look at that vehicle, be certain that whatever that advisory was, you check what it was that it's been done. Because guess what? If it's not been done, it absolutely guarantees that when you buy the vehicle, at some point, you will have to get it done. Now, doing that MOT check, it's actually free, so check that out, as Brooke says.
Number 4, join some campervan forums.
Yeah, we're like members of quite a few forums. I mean, all you have to do is just squeeze past it. It's quite a narrow walkway this, so I'll have to get in front. Yeah, we've joined quite a few forums, haven't we?
Yeah.
You know, on Facebook and things. If you just do if you just do a search, like whatever campervan, whatever make you're going to buy, just do a search on Facebook and type in forums. Comes up with forums, you know, and generally they're all like really friendly and everything, aren't they? We've had loads of advice and things about, you know, campervan things. And the good thing is, you know, whatever vehicle you go and looking at, you can get some sort of like pre-advice, you know, what to look out for and things, you know, what to get.
Wondering why he keeps looking down, it's because his steps there. He
Yeah.
doesn't want to fall over.
Yeah, look, got all them steps here, so I'm just keeping an eye on. So yeah, that's tip number 4. Join some forums.
Yep.
Tip number 5. Are we on tip number 5?
Yeah.
Tip number 5. Now, if you're not very mechanically minded, and you are going, like I said, looking at your campervan, and you know, it's not going to be a cheap purchase, I would advise, if you're not very mechanically minded, take a mechanic with you. Now, if you don't know any mechanics or anything, you could just go to a garage, couldn't you? And just like say, look, thinking about buying a vehicle, you know, is there any possibility that somebody could like go with you to have a look at it? Yes, it's going to cost you money, but you're getting expert advice, aren't you? And also, that mechanic could take an OBD computer with them, and basically what that does, it like reads like the brain, if you like, of the vehicle, you know, to...
Straight on and to the right.
Yeah, we'll go that way. You know, we could, sorry, you could, you know, Brooke thrown me then, but give me a choice of which direction, that way or that way. We've chose that way. But yeah, yeah, if you took a mechanic with you, they can give it like a once over, and if they do take like a diagnostic OBD machine with them, you know, they could have like a look and, you know, give you a better idea if it's going to be a good purchase. Yes, it's going to cost you some money, but it's worth it because campervans are not cheap purchases.
Tip number 6, check the service history.
You heard it off Brooke. So when you get there and you're looking at your vehicle, me again, my personal opinion is I wouldn't be buying a vehicle without any service history. Especially if, you know, the owner of the vehicle is saying things like, oh, I had the service history, but, you know, it got lost in the wash and things like that. Unless it's checkable, again, my opinion is, expensive purchase price, you know, of camper vans, I wouldn't be buying a vehicle without service history. Now, that being said, if it does have service history, don't just assume, so I keep looking down because there's steps here, don't just assume because it's got service history that it's genuine. It is very, very easy to fake service history on a vehicle. You can buy rubber stamps off eBay that have, like, you know, branded sort of like brands, and you can stamp them, you can write your own things in. So a really good tip for you here, guys, is when you're looking at the vehicle, when you're actually...
He's off.
Is he off? I'll let you guys go in front. But yeah, when you get there, if it's got service history, if the owner and the seller does not have anything to hide, get the service history, look at the last couple of stamps that it's got. It will have a phone number for the garage. Give the garage a phone call and just say to them, you're thinking about buying this vehicle, you just want to know, can you check the service history? They might not be able to do it straight away because they're busy, but at least, you know, they'll look into it for you. And there's no reason why a garage will not check that that vehicle has been serviced just to confirm it. If the owner of the vehicle doesn't have anything to hide, it's not a problem, because why would they be bothered? If somebody was buying a vehicle off us, you know, and we've had our vehicle serviced, we've got nothing to hide. We'd be like, we encourage you to ring the garage to make sure that it's been done, because that shows that it's been well looked after and everything. So yeah, really good tip there. Check the service history and actually ring the garage that's had the services done, just for peace of mind. I know, I've just been filming, it looks really nice, yeah. Yeah, I know. We're filming this just like late spring, and you know, it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful around here, so let's go carry on walking about. So we're on tip number 7 now. So, like I said, you know, you're going looking at the vehicle, and when you get there, obviously one of the things you're going to do is arrange a test drive. Now, what I will say is, when you arrange to go and look at the vehicle, and you're obviously going to arrange to have the test drive, when you speak to the owner of the vehicle, you need to say to them that you want to do a cold start of your van when you get there. Now, a cold start means that it's not been started or warmed up the engine before you've got there. Because a lot of problems on vehicles arise when, like, if it's not been drove for 24 hours, so it's cold, and then you start it up, that's what a cold start is. It means that, like, you know, it could, like, pump loads of, like, smoke out of the exhaust, like, unhealthy smoke. Some diesels do, like, you know, smoke come out, and some petrol engines do as well. But, you know, you want to do a cold start so that you can hear if there's any knocking of the engine and things. Now, to be certain that it is a cold start, when you get there, maybe just like check around the exhaust and things and see if it's warm, to see that if it's actually been started before you got there. But do say to the mechanic, or sorry, the seller, that you want to do a cold start for when you get there. They will know what you mean. Now, the other thing is as well, when you do test drive the van, the camper van, make sure you give it a good test drive. Take it on the motorway, because don't forget, the journeys that you're going to be doing in your camper van are going to be long journeys. So take it on a long journey. If it's a test drive, you test drive it how you want to test drive it. You know, even if it's half an hour, 40 minutes, take it for a good run, get it warm, check everything. Then, you know, check like things like, you know, under the, like where you put the oil and stuff, take the oil filler cap off and just check that there's like no like milky residue and things like that. If it is, it's time to walk away. And also, you need to check like all the buttons and everything. You know, if it's got a button, press it, see if it works, see what it does. And you know, if you press it and nothing happens, ask the question, what's this button for, what does it do? Check all the window wipers, electric windows, even check the radio stations, everything. Because if it doesn't work when you buy it and it's not covered under warranty, it's going to cost you money, isn't it? So if it's got a button, press it. So there's tip number 7. Tip number 8. If you're buying your vehicle, whether it's from a private seller or, you know, like a trader, it could be, because some traders do work from home, it could be that initially when you go to look at the vehicle, it's possible that they might want to meet you in a neutral area, say in a car park at a supermarket or something, you know, for you to look at the vehicle, because if it's a private seller, they don't want you to know where they live. You might not want them to know where you live. So, you know, yeah, it's normal if you want to meet them in a neutral area. What I will say is, if you're actually going to buy the vehicle, if you're buying it from a private seller, do not buy the vehicle unless the owner has the V5 logbook, unless they've got a legitimate reason why they don't, and they can prove like it may have been lost or something. You know, you can do your checks with DVLA. Stick over here, you know, because that does happen. But what I will say is, if you are going to buy the vehicle from if a private seller, from the address of what is on the logbook of the actual owner, because it's dodgy. If someone, I'll let you get past. if someone of a vehicle insists that they don't want you to go to their home address, you know, they could say things like, oh, they're selling it for a friend and things like that. You know, just be very wary. I mean, people do sell vehicles for friends. There are some legitimate reasons why they might not want you to go to the house. But me personally, if I'm buying a vehicle and they say to me, yeah, I want to do the deal in a car park after you've viewed the vehicle, if they say, no, yeah, bring your £10,000 to a car park and hand it over, listen, it's a little bit, you know, I'm sure that, like I said, there is legitimate people out there, there is genuine people and things like that, but just let this jogger go past, all right? Yeah, there is legitimate people out there, you know, and like some people might sell vehicles like that, but I wouldn't buy a vehicle in a car park off a private seller or off a trader without like going to the home address. It's just, something doesn't add up there. So make sure, you know, you've got your wits about you, do your homework, you know, and think about what you're doing.
Was that tip number 8?
That was tip number 8. So
I'm sure you said 7 at the beginning.
I don't know. I do apologise if I've got the numbers wrong and I've actually gave like 9 tips instead of 10 and everything, but right.
You can't count.
I can count, but you know, distracted by, look at all this like beautiful area, this, and you know, it's not far from our house, this, it's absolutely fantastic. You know, nice little walk. So right, we'll get on to tip number 9 in a minute. Right guys, tip number 9. Is that right, Brooke?
Yeah.
That's right. I thought I spotted something nice and smelly there. Right, oh, like nice and smelly, like it was a flower he was sniffing. He was having a pee now. Right, tip number 9. Do not compromise on what you want in a camper van. Now, when we was looking for our camper van, it took us 8 months to find the van that we wanted. We had a tick list, and on that tick list, you know, we wanted like certain things, like, you know, you have a tick list and
Wanted tailgate, not barn doors.
yeah, things like that. And what happened was, we weren't finding the vehicle that we wanted that ticked all our tick lists, because, you know, I think like the engine, you know, some, like we've got a Volkswagen Campervan transporter, and you know, all the engines are like, like the 2-litre ones, they have like different brake horsepower. I think some are about 84 or something, some are like 102, some 160. The figures are something like that, they're not exact, but we knew we didn't want like the lowest brake horsepower one and things like that, you know, because we like going exploring. So you're going to have a tick list. What I will say, guys, don't compromise on your tick list, because what will happen is you're going to look, you're not going to find one, but you're going to find a vehicle and you're going to be like, oh, I really like the look of this one. You know, you're going to get like really excited, and it's a case of, I want a camper van, I want one now, and you might compromise. Just don't do it. Stick to your tick list and get what you want, because you'll regret it in the future if you don't.
Tip number 10, always trust your instincts.
That's right, guys, trust your instincts. We've all done it. We've gone looking at a vehicle or other things, and you get there and something doesn't feel right. You know, the salesperson or the private seller could be like saying things, and in your head you're just thinking, doesn't sound right, this doesn't sound right, it just doesn't feel right, Trust your instincts, because if you feel like that, there's a reason that, you know, you're picking up on something. If it doesn't feel right, don't, you know, like just compromise and just say, yeah, no, I'll get it. Just trust your instincts. That, huh?
Look at that.
He's got something stuck to
his nose.
Yeah, right, he did it himself. Well done. No, guys, seriously, that's probably the most important tip that we can give you. Trust your instincts, because if you're being told something's not right, you need to walk away. It's not worth it, you know, and you do know what I'm talking about there. You know, you do feel it, so trust your instincts, and if it doesn't feel right, it's not right. Isn't that right, Brooke?
Yep.
So,
if it's not right, don't do it.
Don't do it. Right, guys, we're going to continue having a wander around this park, and Thor's taking us for a walk. Oh, do you not want to do the steps, Thor? Oh yeah, he's back on the steps. Oh, no. Yeah, going side to side. Yeah, we're going to go and continue taking Thor for a walk, so we'll catch up with you guys in a minute. Woo.
Sorry.
Right, guys. I think I just did my right thing again. You don't pick up on that one.
In the mud. Absolutely not.
Yeah,
You just had a bath.
Oh yeah, just had a bath. All the groomers are shut at the moment, so
But
you know,
they're opening again in 2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah. So Thor can go and get his hair cut.
Thor will be off to Snobby Dog.
Yeah, get Snobby Dogs, get his hair cut and everything, get his full wash and nails trimmed and get the full treatment and everything. So excited to that. So guys, I hope today's video has been stuck down here. Has been informative for people that, you know, considering buying a vehicle or a van, you know, camper, it doesn't matter what it is. Now guys, I do know that there's probably a lot of tips and advice and things like that that I've probably left out, you know, when you're buying a vehicle. So if any of you guys have got any like good tips about buying a camper and things like that we've not mentioned, put it in the comments below so that anybody else reading the comments, you know, they can read them as well, you know, and get some tips and advice and things, because like I said, that's just like the tips that the top 10 that we find is important. And like I said, I've probably missed quite a few things out there, so yeah, we would appreciate it if you put it in the comments below, your tips and your advice. Right, well that's it for today's video. I hope it's been informative and enjoyable, and you know, you've enjoyed coming for a walk with me, Brooke and Thor. He's still full of energy. If you have enjoyed it, please give the video a thumbs up. You know, any comments below, like I said, we answer. Oh yeah, how could I forget? Please hit that subscribe button. And to all the subscribers that have already subscribed, we really appreciate every single one of you. We really appreciate it. We really want our channel to grow, and the positivity we're getting from you guys, fantastic. We love it. We really appreciate it. So if you haven't subscribed, please do consider pressing that subscribe button. So, right, got anything to add?
See you in the next one.
We will see you in the next one, and hopefully we'll be able to get out and do some traveling soon. So until the next video, guys, bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.